Hi everyone, thanks for joining another one-click Canada session. As you know, this one I already had a short for a quick box opening. I wanted to have a full review for this, but before that, why not having a first impression video? Because I have some of the unknowns that I wasn't aware that until I get this, and once I start experiencing it, I just wanted to share you in advance before the full review. So first thing first, why drone? To me, drone has been always one thing that I always wanted to have. I was waiting for the technology to come to this stage because one of the main reasons that really took my attention. This is very small, it's a very good visual for video and photo, but at the same time I can easily carry around, and finally it's here in a way that you can actually control without needing to any remote or phone or anything else. You can get this by drone itself too. So that's my main reason first I wanted to get this, but I was reviewing these other things too, like with the bundle you can get this additional experience with it. So I was thinking, while I'm getting this, why not I'm actually finally having a bit of extra experience, even though I know that I will 80% of time use this one as is, and mostly I will use this one more like 20% of time just as an additional fun for an adult. You can just have these goggles and looking around. So that's the idea, at least for me. So if you're looking for something with a simplicity but at the same time some advanced features, then this is a great opportunity finally having this. Anyway, that's number one thing I want to talk about with you all, because this is a great opportunity to have you around, and then you can actually quick launch with these new buttons that they enabled. So that's the best part. I was very interested. It got my attention right away because that requires nothing but just the drone itself. So I even had some of those visuals. I will be sharing some in the video, and that's great example of like how you can use it without need of too much expertise around drones. All you need just to get used to drone and how it really works, and sometimes it has those moves that it's trying to balance the things out based on different factors around you. So all the things you need to know, just a bit of maybe basic of drones, but that's it. All you need, just press these buttons, launch it, get some good aerial shots for yourself, take in yourself without needing to have too complicated setups like carrying around tripods or anything like that. It's over for this. That's why I was so interested, and I was even thinking like maybe I can use it in the house too, right? Like indoor. So I will talk about that too, but soon. First, let's talk about this part. I want to show you here, like which bundle you should get, right? Because that was my main question when I was thinking like, should I get just the drone itself? Should I get, something like this? So I was in between because I was more interested just the drone, and in Canada it was around 300. Okay, so if you pay 110 or more, you get the the batteries, which is great because I was hearing the first thing first, the battery is not the best here. So I will talk about bundle plus why the decision of that with the other things and the reality here, because the battery is really small, and basically that's the size of battery you're having, like basically 2 fingers size, that's it. And then the battery, it says in the paper, is around 17 minutes, but in reality, when I was using it in the regular weather, it's not too windy, but maybe regular time of your year, and you can think that the weather conditions around like no wind to maybe 5 kilometers per hour versus a bit of cold. So I understand that in that scenario, maybe winter time, let's call it out, 10 minutes maximum I was able to get with this one. And I'm just using the device itself. I specifically removed the other attachments to prevent any other, maybe consumption. So that way I could see how it goes. And mostly that was my experience. The reason I'm telling it, because you may think one battery could be enough, which is good. Once you get used to it, you can be very effective, start right away, and then get your, shots done. So it could be good enough for that kind of shots. But if you want to use it with this kind of things, or maybe remote, then this is definitely a must-have to have additional batteries. And when you get that batteries with it, it is actually kind of giving you the opportunity of fast charging with the battery itself. It's coming with that. So that way you don't actually rely on the drone charging, and it's not that fast. So slow charging. And I ended up getting this additional 110, just get the batteries and charger included, as opposed to having the drone itself. So 300 just for drone, plus 110, you get 2 batteries and charger. But then I'm thinking, what if I need a remote? Because I was seeing the second part is that the limitation of remote capabilities with the phone, you need an area with less Wi-Fi congestion. With that one, I can see that your phone has limitation to connect this with over Wi-Fi. You won't have that exact distance maybe you are hoping for. So that's why I was thinking, what if I get the one with the remote? So that means you pay again 130 more, but the remote itself also that price. So I was thinking maybe I'll just get the one with the basic plus batteries and I can get the remote later on. But then this one came into effect and I'm like, I will get this probably one time. I'm not interested in upgrading or changing later on because again, this already has the features I'm looking for. 4K video shooting and it's pretty good. I was checking those from other reviewers in YouTube, and I'm good to go. So that being said, it's so simple, right? You just open this one and then you just turn on the device by directly here, and then you press and hold. And it's turned on. You just make sure you're just holding it in a way that it can balance itself. After it's initialized, all you need this section that you see here, where you can see that part in terms of just having your functionality or the mode, let's say, that you can adjust. So you can change this mode.
Master shots, selfie shot, rocket, droney, circle, boomerang, helix.
So right now it's in the follow mode. I just want to show you when there is light and like the sunshine behind me, because so many people are talking about this is more a bit like snow, and also when it comes to the sunshine they say it cannot really see yourself, but I can say that it can actually see me. There is no problem with that, and it can record my voice through the app, so we are all good there. Now I'm just checking behind my wheel here with the sunshine how much it can get me when it comes to the sunshine when it's just the opposite way. So if I just do this way, and if I just want to see when the sunshine is there, and I'm seeing that now there's more wind appearing, so how much is it able to compensate that wind situation? And also, like right now behind that there's a tree. I just want to see how much it will like wind a tree there. So I don't want to really try too best there, but So anyway, this is the follow mode.
Dolly zoom.
So that's the idea, right? To me, like only drone experience is probably 80% of time I knew that I will use this one, but 20% of time I'll just only add this one to my journey to just enjoy, as a PV feeling. What I'm mostly interested, like
Master shots.
Using this one without any remote is my key here. And like one thing I noticed though, it's very important that seems like there's a satellite connection on those, and this is very important to have the best way of having it so that it can have a great system and the connection points. And my only concern is that sometimes it may lose those, due to some factors, and maybe the sensors are not used in a proper way if you don't hold it properly when you first launch it. So that's why this is the key. Make sure you're initializing it in a in a good format like this, and then when you launch the mode, make sure you hold it like this, and it will just see yourself, it's looking at you, and that's it. So that's the idea. Once you turn it on, it's also easy to connect on the mobile phone with the DJI Fly app. This is second thing, not my Mimo app. This is the DJI Fly app. So you can use the same account if you have one. That's it. Make sure you connect those, and in the activation process, before you start anything, make sure you charge all the batteries, because that's the main frustration you may have. For all of those, the battery wasn't enough. It was all under 50%. So you need to make sure it's not below 50%. So you actually start your activation right away. So, but I missed one point. I noticed that this one only connects through the goggles. So you cannot use this remote as RC remotes. So I was actually, that's why thinking with this bundle, you know what, I don't need that kind of other remote. This small and good, I can use this one easily, and turned out that's not the case. I will need an RC remote because, again, just so you are aware, that was my third unknown, that this remote requires this goggle, so it doesn't have that kind of antenna that automatically connects to this on the drone. So you need goggles dependency. These antennas are helping to connect the drone with this. So that's it. And then other thing I want to talk about is the goggles. When you're using it as a first time user, that could be a little bit overwhelming if you haven't get familiar with your drone first, right? So that's why I highly suggest, for maybe after activation, forget about this a bit of time, you focus on the drone itself. Try to learn that, try to use it with your mobile device first, and then once you get used to, once you know it more with its, behaviors, when there's different factors and you know what a drone, how a drone experience is, then you're good to go and start with this one. So ideally, that's easier and less overwhelming, at least for my own experience, that I want to suggest, because once you put this on, there's no way that you can see around and surroundings, so you focus the vision from the drone itself. So you might get this overwhelmed scenario that, trying to learn Google, but also trying to learn the device. So it could be a little bit too much for the first time owners. In the activation process, I finished this activation in a way that, you turn on everything in a single method. So just so you know, to turn this on, you press one time, after you see the light, press and hold. That's how you turn on all of them in the same manner. And once you're done that, it's good to go. You can go to the activation screen and do your activation and finish, probably some firmware updates and so on, and done. But that's it. So that's being said, turning on was my main problem. After I turned on, I put that in pairing mode by holding again, and that's it. Definitely with this one I will go over later on. My main focus with the first impression is really the device itself. Especially to me, again, the one thing that I'm very fan of is that ability to launch it by itself without relying on phone or the remote. However, audio. So if you're requiring an audio directly on this device without the post-production and everything, you need to have your phone connected to the drone, and that way you can have your audio recorded through the phone. Any Bluetooth connection device that's on your phone, you can have your audio through that system. So let's say you have an AirPod or maybe another microphone like this one. You can use all of them with the Bluetooth connection over the phone, and the phone needs to be connected to the drone. So that way you can get the audio you're requiring for, but that means then you still rely on your phone. So if you need audio, you cannot give up your phone. So the way that you can only use drone is for visual only. So for audio, that's what you need. So right now it's on the Apple Watch, and this time you're actually hearing me through the Apple Watch. Okay, so I just want to make sure how you're actually using this is a bit different. So now I want to see if I say stop here. So the good thing, you can actually stop that current mode and then it will start hovering around you. So that's the good part. So you don't even need to take it back and restart. Instead, once it is done, it stops and you can do any of modes. How it will work, as you can see right now, I'm just again using my watch. It is on the spotlight, so it is hovering a point that you're actually walking around it, so it's not really following it, but instead it is just staying in a point that where you want it to. So you can always change that. So let's say if I wanted to get from this perspective. All right, everyone, I guess that's it today, but also just wanted to tell you, this is pretty good for this kind of shots. Apple Watch was one of the advertisement items that I was keep seeing there. Like I was thinking Apple Watch would be a good one to use this. Just so you know, again, you cannot directly connect from your Apple Watch to this device, so that advertisement is a little bit misleading. So you still need your phone as your bridge. So your phone always needs to be connected for these two things: audio, Apple Watch, and so on. And again, with the phone, you have more capabilities that you can do just the drone itself. You can do even some further adjustments, which is great. Like, I like that. But sometimes you just want to get your drone, that's it. Anyway, there's two things I wanted to mention. And then audio, mostly when I was reviewing it and also when I was experiencing by myself, I noticed that there is some kind of compression happening. Probably it's because of the application itself. There is a setting you can turn this off. Like there's two settings. Either you can turn on the voice, kind of background remover thingy, and that way it's more compressed, but then you just hear only your voice when you're actually talking, everything else so silent. You can change that to more kind of natural feeling. However, there's still some kind of compression I noticed through the app. Even though I use the microphone with a mobile receiver to the phone, I know that when I do this way, I get way better and clear audio when I'm doing video recording on the phone. But however, with this one, you still have that compressed sound somehow. So maybe hopefully in the future that will be fixed. And also, I would be so happy if we could just connect a mobile receiver here at the back. And when you're doing this kind of quick launches, mostly you just want this device around you, right? It's very close shots. And in those scenarios, it would be nice to just have that direct audio enablement on the device. So currently, that's not possible. I haven't tried. Maybe I'll try for a short. We'll see. Fly app, again, you can just click this button and then connect your device right away. So another unknown I want to talk about is that, so you won't remotely launch your device. It always requires you to turn on and then you can do the connection to your devices. So now it's just shows us here, as you can see. Now we can connect, and then connection point is here. So once it is connected, that's it. So you have this one here like this. Here you can actually have the same kind of functionality. Easily change this shortcuts that's shown in the drone here by actually setting those here additionally. So you can customize the modes, and if you are moving those items above this line, then you will see those all in the shortcut of the drone. This is great because that way you can easily have any of the functionalities you're a fan of and use it as is. And then you can make this even manual connection points. So if you're looking for a manual control, this is the setting you choose. You can turn off this by just pressing this button. So now you have the full screen view, and then you will have joysticks showing up here once you actually take it off. You start your recording when you're using manual approach, because that's something I noticed. You can change this view to vertical. One thing I wasn't aware that this is actually staying as is. So this is more like a square sensor that allows you to do either or. So it's not a physical change on this device because it is two direction, not only directional. So one thing as well I wasn't aware. What else I can show you? The settings, of course. Here you can update all these settings, and it's showing you when you go into settings what is it in this view. So this is a very good one because you can easily just make that change, flat or rise, and then save. So that way all these settings save that way, and you can launch it right away. And you can update those by actually press and hold on these buttons even on the drone. So it's let you make those changes right away. What other settings you have? So you can go app recording. So here is the one, app recording and voice audio recording. You can change noise reduction to natural or pure. Pure is actually putting more processing on it, so I prefer natural. But even natural causing some kind of, even in natural this app causing some kind of extra processing, so I'm not a fan of that. Just so you know, like, yes, definitely there are some of those settings you can control, but it's not as advanced. And the action cams, how much settings you can have for the things, it's limited. And this one doesn't have an SD card slot, so you are looking to that 49 gigabyte. Okay, and then the more settings, you can change the manual obstacle avoidance to bypass, brake, or off. Bypass is my suggestion, but normal, not nifty. So that way it's still doing a little bit diligent work when it's trying to exit from the area. And this AR setting is like this, calibrations and battery cycle count. That's it. So other than that, there's no controls at all. All you can do, just if you want to have your video settings, like what kind of recording you want to have, you just need to make the change on these specific item here, like whatever you're choosing. Then there's video section that you can update that. Like as an example, in this one you can't do it, but manual control, if you go here, and you see here 4K 30 ps or 60 ps, right? So those are the settings you can have. Another thing I wasn't aware is you cannot adjust this to 4K 120 in the app. You still need an RC remote for 120 fps. That's another piece I wasn't aware. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting us, and please comment below and subscribe. This is very important for us. So again, have a good one. Take care.